You go back to, how did the FBI end up here in the first place? You know, a bag of weed, the FBI is so much more busier than this. Why did the FBI come in here and lie about being here? And of course, that's proven in court documents also. What I was telling you about the blank unsigned search warrant. They get on the stand and testify that that was a ruse designed to gain access to my property. And they're the FBI, so they can do that. They had never recorded anything. The interrogation of our employee for 4 hours was not, according to which they're lying. And yes, I just said you guys are lying again. You know as good as I do, the FBI records every sneeze that goes on in that building. They didn't bring that recording because that recording would have showed that this thing was a scam. Instead, they testified that if there's two agents present, they don't record. They write down notes. That's FBI protocol. Well, that was very interesting because after Brad's first trial, I went to FBI headquarters when I found out what Darren had done. Because Darren had been telling my wife and I, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to anybody. Don't tell anybody what you know. I'm going to expose everything. You know, he's going to be the hero of the day. He'd seen Brad at Jackson's, told Brad, this is going away, man. I've got you. He told both of us. You know, he found out the truth. He was exposing everything, only to go into court. Darren's crime is not what he said, it's what he didn't say. Everything he found out, he worked a political deal out with somebody where he kept his mouth shut. I don't know what they're talking about. Their word against ours, I'm chief public safety. What are you going to do about it? So, after Brad's first trial, I personally called Tweedledee and Tweedledum from the FBI. Went down there for an hour, argued with them of what we had found out about our house, what Darren had exposed to us, and that they were after the wrong guy. And the exact expression I told them is, you can't see the forest through the trees. They were so obsessed with getting Brad, they wouldn't listen to Darren, is what I thought. Of course, I was being very naive at the time. At the time, Erica's phone, she didn't have that phone anymore, which we have recovered. But her phone records were still viable. Because you got to remember, this is April. Well, they can go phone records back 6 months. Back up 6 months from April, you're talking October. It's going to pick up a lot of the phone traffic. We begged them to take a subpoena because the phone company had already told us we can't get any of that without a federal subpoena. Great, let's go get one from the FBI. Here, guys, here's her phone. This is really what happened. This is what Darren White's told, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, give us something that we can prosecute Brad Ahrensfeld with, and we'll help you out. If not, well, we don't really care what happened at your house or what you're saying. So fast forward to Brad's second trial in December. I'm up on the stand, and the U.S. attorney starts asking me questions about that meeting with the FBI. Then she goes, did you not say some phrase? And she's holding this up, and I said, I don't remember saying that. She goes, it's in this recorded interview. That facial expression you just made is nothing compared to what everybody in the courtroom did. What? What recorded interview? When you met with the FBI in April of 2010, did you not say this? Did you not say that? I said, you know what? I don't know. Let me read the transcript. So she handed me the transcript. And then it was very, very convenient how she had gone through the transcript and was highlighting certain words and reversing them. And I called her out on it, and she got all upset at me, and the judge had to get on to us. Well, while this was happening, Brad and Jason are sitting there going, wait a minute, what recorded interview? 2 FBI agents, they've already testified, they don't record anything. Well, they had recorded my interview and then tried to use it against us, even though it was really a recording of them intimidating me, is what it come out to, which didn't work out for them because I told them to go fuck themselves. So now you have these guys testifying one thing, doing another, and they withheld this interview from Jason. That interview had enough in it. Brad should have been exonerated right there. The judge allows it because of the way that the evidence was stacked in that trial. Brad was found guilty of something he didn't do. If you don't have a crime, you can't have obstruction. But like I say, it's not about the truth in these things. That U.S. attorney had played this game pretty well, even though she was very dirty about it and withheld this evidence. So you've got the lab results that proved that the drug charges were just fucking preposterous. She withheld that. You have this recorded interview of me and Agent McCandless and Agent Washington that they'd never given to Brad's attorneys, whipped it out in court, a clear Brady violation. Brad gets found guilty. Well, the next week, my wife writes a letter and puts it on the internet. Because she was so infuriated that we had gone to the FBI and begged them to go into her phone records. Her phone records would expose everything. That's time sensitive. Phone companies only keep those records for 6 months. So now, 10 months later, there's no way that we can get to it without having the original device. So she writes this letter. It gets posted on the Eye of Albuquerque on Friday. On Monday, Agent McCandless and Agent McCandless calls my wife immediately. Where's the text messages? She's like, what? You know, he starts calling her, badgering her. Well, we did record that phone call. As you know, Brad played it on KOB. And even in that phone interview, McCandless is wishy-washy, flipping his answers. But Erica made her point very clearly. Why is it now, 10 months later, now you're calling us? Why didn't you do this 10 months ago? They never wanted the truth. They didn't want Brad's name clear. It's not about truth and justice. It's about whatever they can get away with. And I mean, it's so crystal clear. It's scary what it is, because had they have gotten those phone records, they would have found out Darren White lied on the stand. They would have found out Ryan Buckner lied to them in the first place, which is how they got in this mess. Why didn't they do that? Why did they just let that go? I don't know. There's a couple of different theories out there that they knew the whole time. They never wanted the truth of this. Because the truth of the matter is, and not to take anything from Brad Ehrenfeld at all, Brad was the smallest fish in the pond. He was the one everybody could put everything on. Because if the truth be known of what really happened, what Brad really stumbled into, you're talking Darren White, you're talking Ray Schultz, possibly Marty Chavez, and a whole lot of people in between that were involved in a political scam. You know, this started off, from what Darren told us, nobody was ever supposed to be charged. It was supposed to be in the press for a few days, make Darren look bad right before the election would supersede it, it would go away. Well, it did. And I think it all goes back to T.J. Wilhelm writing that story about our house being burglarized. These jackasses never thought for once. I mean, I'd love to have seen their face on Saturday morning when they opened up the newspaper and went, oh fuck, this shit made the paper. It was never supposed to make the paper. None of this was ever supposed to happen, but it did. Darren found out. I don't know what all favors have been returned. Maybe that's why Ray Schultz is still here. You know, I'd have to think that, because everybody knows that Darren wanted Ray out of there. Darren didn't want Ray around. You know, Darren can say what he wants to Ray, but you know, trust me, over turkey dinner, Ray Schultz is a piece of shit and he's got to go.